G'day mate, and welcome to another Mongrel Dog production. This time I'm cycling Southeast Asia. The plan is to leave Chiang Mai in northern Thailand, cycle down to Bangkok, from there cross the border into Cambodia and perhaps even into Vietnam. Trevor will join me for the first 2 weeks from Chiang Mai to Bangkok, and then he'll fly out from there. Grab your gear and let's go. They're just doing a bit of tree lopping on the 400-year-old trees that were established to shade the elephants. Well, morning of day 3 on the road for us. Been on the road for about an hour this morning, and we've started the climb over the mountain range between Lee and Toan. Not sure how many kilometres it is to the top. It's been a bit hard for me to gauge looking at the maps, but I reckon we've got to climb at about an hour ahead of us. I'm looking forward to the other side. Any thoughts, Trev? That was an easy one. I think that's the sign of things to come. Well, it's still day 3. We've covered about 40 kilometres. It's only early. It's only about 10:30. We've only got another 10 kilometres to go to get to Thun, which is our destination for today. Today's been great. We had to cross that mountain range. We saw a sign that said 17 kilometres of winding road, and I thought, oh no, this is where the misery starts. But it was like we were in the Blue Mountains at Katoomba, and it's been downhill for most of the way. It's been a real breeze. Trev, how's that working out for you?
Yeah, I think there's a woman standing on me.
Yeah?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll feel like $1 million afterwards, mate.
Right now I'm just flinching in pain.
She knows what she's doing.
Does she?
You're in good hands.
Thanks.
Cycling Thailand, Dad. Well, never anticipated this. We've left for the morning. We're trying to pick up local roads and tracks to get us to the river to continue heading south, and I've just picked some random back road that was marked on the map, but we're just going around in small circles. I think we're on the right track now, but would have been quicker to cut our losses and just stick to the main roads. Lesson learned. Where are we supposed to go here? Is this the T-junction? This is a T-junction that's not a T-junction. Holy shit. It's just a maze of tracks. Well, what do you think? Do they look the goods? You got to eat. Busy place. Well, Google Maps has taken us through some random paddock. I'm thankful for Google Maps because it allows us to find out where we are and where we're going, but when it picks tracks like this where there are no tracks, then I start losing a bit of confidence. Help. Well, we're currently at the Singburi bus station. Trevor's fixing a flat. This is the first flat for the trip. We had lunch, and when he got back on the bike he noticed the rear tyre was flat. We think it's just a thorn. We've pulled over at the bus station to fix it. We may catch a bus from here down to An Thong, which is probably 30-40 kilometres down the road. Final run into Bangkok today. We're going to catch a train for the last 60 k's, only so that we don't have the pressure of trying to navigate through busy traffic and end up losing our way. So yeah, we'll be in Bangkok today after 11 consecutive days of riding. After 11 consecutive days of riding and 848 kilometres, we've finally arrived at Bangkok, checked into a fairly good hotel, and because I've only got a couple of days off, I thought I might relax a little before hitting the road and heading for Cambodia. Well, last full day in Thailand for Trevor. He's boxing up the bike, ready to leave tomorrow morning. Yeah, catch the 9:15 flight to Singapore and then on to Perth. Well, Trevor's on board a flight by now. I made sure he checked in okay. I'm trying to navigate my way out of the city to head south towards the coast. I'm actually riding through the heart of the city and the traffic is just chaotic. I feel sad today. I've lost my flag while in transit and it's almost like I've lost my identity. I'm currently east of Rayong, about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days from the Cambodian border. I'm riding along the beach. I'm not taking the most direct route, but I'm certainly taking a more relaxed one. It's still a bit busy, but not half as congested as the road I was on. Geez, I tell you what, I'm forever thankful for Google Maps. I wish I had that sort of technology a few years ago when I was travelling in Thailand and also in China. There's so many lefts and rights and little minor roads that you can take that the maps just don't show you. So although I'm critical of Google Maps in one regard, when they take you across paddocks, I'm also thankful that I've got it. Well, today's 3 weeks in country. I've covered about 1,200 kilometres, I guess. I'm on some fairly obscure roads and tracks again, trying to link up between 2 major roads. I've just had a gutful of the congestion. I just hope I don't end up in a paddock again. Well, I got to Trat early, before noon. I was going to stay here overnight and try and organise a bus down to the border tomorrow. I've got here that early. I've come to the bus station, negotiated a deal, and for $8, 90 kilometres. I'm leaving at 1 o'clock, so I'll still be in Thailand today. I won't cross the border till tomorrow. I'll find a place to stay. Should be there by 3 p.m, I guess. Well, I've crossed the border. I've left Thailand. I'm now in Cambodia. I had some real concerns about that border crossing because of rumours of corruption and the like, but I guess largely they were unfounded. I've got to ride like a man possessed now to get to a little town called Koh Kong. That's the nearest border town to the border. There's a bus that leaves there every morning at 8 a.m. The next stretch is not cycle friendly. It's over a couple of 100 kilometres. The terrain is very steep and difficult, and there's no villages along the way. And there is only 1 bus per day, so I've got to get the lead out and see if I can get there before the bus leaves. Well, I've made it. Probably with about 20 or 30 minutes to spare. taking a boat cruise for the day. Do a bit of snorkeling, a bit of swimming, a bit of beach combing. Well, I'm about to catch another bus, this time from Sihanoukville through to Phnom Penh, a couple hundred k's, probably 5 hours I guess. It's cost me $10 US. I'm not going to ride this section, I've just run out of time. I've got to meet Jackie in Phnom Penh tomorrow evening, so I'll take another bus trip. Well, we've just spent the last couple of hours touring the Thru Slang Genocide Museum. This was the old high school that was converted to a torture and extermination camp. This is where a lot of the interrogations took place for the more educated people, and even the Khmer Rouge carters. Behind me are the 14 graves of the 14 dead who were found when after the place had been evacuated by the Khmer Rouge. Well, we're currently at the killing fields about 15 kilometres just outside of Phnom Penh. Those who were executed here were brought here after dark and usually killed that same night, and then obviously dumped in pits and buried. It's been a very chilling and sobering experience. Yeah, very sobering. Well, I've left Phnom Penh. I'm now heading southeast towards one of the lesser used borders with Vietnam. I'm on highway number 2. The cycling conditions are pretty difficult. The roads are crappy. There's a lot of traffic. There's no shoulder to ride on, and quite often I find myself on the unsealed shoulder, which is a smoother go. It's a smoother riding, but I don't want to risk the chance of a puncture, so I've got to be careful. Yeah, hopefully the further away I get from Phnom Penh, the volume of traffic will decrease, I guess. Well, I'm within striking distance of the Vietnam-Cambodian border. The last 50 kilometres leading out of their country is in good shape. It's flat, it's level, it's got a bit of a shoulder. I can't see why they couldn't get the first 80 kilometres out of Phnom Penh sorted, because that road was atrocious. Anyway, one thing I'll give Cambodia is it's pancake flat. I've not encountered many hills at all, although that's not to say it's flat everywhere. There are parts of the country which are quite hilly, but I do notice that some hills are starting to develop as I'm getting closer to the border, although I would expect the Mekong Delta to be relatively flat as well, seeing it follows a river system. Anyway, border crossings always make me nervous because of the risk of corruption and the like, but I'll just have to suck it and see. Oh yes, oh yes, yes. No, welcome to Vietnam. Well, welcome to Vietnam. I've done the border crossing without a hitch, although I was stopped a couple of times.
Hello.
G'day boys! And every time I was stopped I thought, here we go. But anyway, yep, I'm in Vietnam. I might go that way, rather than go that way. Nah, might go that way. Yeah, I might take the ferry. Good idea. Yeah, take that way. I'm taking a ferry across the river. The road I was on to Can Po is very, very busy. I'm going to cross the river and see if the roads on that side are any quieter. It's going to be longer, but yeah, that road was downright dangerous. Geez, it's a real scramble to get on these things. Thousands of people queuing up. Yeah, a real shit fight. Anyway, like I say, today will be longer, but I'd rather the luxury of hopefully a quieter road than trying to put up with the traffic that was on that other road. Well, that's obviously the river that I'm paralleling, but on the other side now. I think it was the smart choice for a change. This road is not as smooth, but it's sealed. It's a little bit narrow, but there's not the volume of traffic that I had to contend with on the other side. So although it'll take me a bit longer, at least I can focus on the scenery and not so much on survival. Well, on my day's ride out of Ho Chi Minh City, or formerly Saigon, I was going to catch a fast ferry from there down to Vung Tau, which was the port of entry for all the Aussie diggers who served in Vietnam. I've decided to change that idea, and I'm heading now to a ferry crossing that may or may not exist. I won't know till I get there. At worst case, I would have extended my day by 20 kilometres, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Well, fast ferry it ain't, but I've been able to store a trip on a ferry by pure luck more than anything else, and it's going to be a long and painful ride trip, but it's going to be better than cycling for hour upon hour. Welcome to Vung Tau. I survived the trip okay, although at times there, I felt like I was a refugee. I'm going to see Jesus. Apparently that one is taller than the one in South America by several metres. So we'll go for another hill climb, shall we? Well, that's what we've all come here to see. You can actually walk inside the statue. There's 130 steps inside that take you to the top. You can look out the sleeves. I won't be allowed entry because I'm not dressed appropriately. That is, I've got shorts and a t-shirt on, but that's okay. I'll be able to live with that. These are the two extremes of Vung Tau Beach. One with the tide out, and the other with the tide in. Well, today's a bit harder going than normal. I'm heading into a very strong headwind. I think that'll be like that for most of the day. I'm heading up the coast, pretty well paralleling the coast as close as you can get. It's not a busy road, it's a weekday. There's hardly any traffic, as you can tell looking behind me. It's a good flat road. I had the puncture, I fixed that. I had to walk the bike several hundred metres to get some shelter behind a wall, because like I say, the wind's howling here. And this was a hotel in isolation. There's nothing for miles around, but I sought shelter behind the wall outside the premises, and within moments, security guards were walking up and down asking what I was doing, what I was up to. They must have been a bit of a tag team, but anybody think I was going to rob the place? Anyway, I'll continue on and find a place to stay for the night. Well, last night at midnight I was woken by the wind. It was that strong, and it was at that time that I decided I'll cut my losses. I'll not continue heading north because that headwind was just too strong. That's Highway 1 behind me, which is their main arterial road heading north-south. I'll cut my losses and head towards Ho Chi Minh City from here. I'm not looking forward to it purely because of the volume of traffic. Welcome to Saigon, and it's traffic. Well, on my way to the airport. It's the morning of the 17th of March. Been away from home now for 2 months, and I'm looking forward to get back to Australia.